to say hi. Hi. She does the cutest little head tilt now. Hey, what are you doing? You coming to say hi? Hey. Oh no, just switching beds. A thing that she does often. I don't even know how to start this video. Molly has been super unlucky in the last couple of years. Very, very unlucky dog. In 2023, she actually had to have her tail amputated, which I don't think I really posted about it at the time because it was so sad. Oh, hi, Pippi. Pippi, you're so big now. Look at you. You're such a big boy. So yeah, she had a little benign growth on her tail, but the problem was that it grew so large that it sort of, oh, Pip, Pip, I have a very precarious setup here, Pip. This is why I didn't post it, because it was so gross. It basically kept bursting. I had towels all over my cabin. And the problem with a growth on a tail is that they don't have enough skin to remove it and then also sew it back up. So the tail had to go. So I was a wreck. I was so nervous that she was gonna have this procedure, but the surgeon was incredible. She was only under anesthesia for like 25 minutes. Bam. She had a little tail stub. It was super sad. But then she regrew her tail magically, like a lobster or something. But yeah, that was in 2023. And then she had a giant dental procedure in February of this year, 2024. But in all of this, Molly was amazing. She handled anesthesia like a champ. She recovered super, super well. I was so impressed with her. And she does this thing now where I call it scratch a clock, where she basically is like, it's time for my scratches now. And you give her scratches, and then if you stop, she paws until you start again. Scratch a clock happens pretty frequently, actually. So that's been going on the last couple of years. It's been pretty stressful, but then this year I posted, it was I think at the end of April maybe, my dad's dog, who was kind of like my dog as well, Polly, passed away here in the house, in my arms, and it was pretty terrible. She passed away of old age. And about a week after that, I was petting Molly, scratch a clock, and I felt a little bump that I didn't recognize or remember. I've had Molly for 13 years now, I think, and I know every bump on this dog. And usually when I go to take her to the vet, I'll mention them, and they're like, oh yeah, that's no big deal. But because this was a new bump and I just went through what I went through with Polly, I was like, no, nothing's happening to you right now, Molly. So I took her to the vet, and the vet was like, I don't feel it. And I was like, no, it's here. like feel right here. It's so small. And the vet was like, oh yeah, I don't love that. And basically took a sample of it and looked at it under a microscope and found that there were round cells, which is a high probability of being cancerous. So at that point, she told me I should get an appointment with a dog oncologist, the one that I had already seen when I got the diagnosis that Molly's tail little tumor was benign. Unfortunately, she was out of town or at a conference for a long time. It was gonna be like a month before Molly got in to see her. And so I called my vet back, and I really credit her really for saving Molly's life, because she was like, no, don't wait a month, like schedule a surgery, like remove it, get rid of it. I say that I credit her because it takes so much time, right? Even after you find something, it takes like another week before you have a consultation, and then dogs have to get CT scans. Are you gonna jump on the camera right now? Let me show, he's ominously like looking. Pip, this is not, do not jump on my, you can't do this, you can't. What was I saying? By the time you have to schedule a CT, you have to send off the lump for a biopsy. They ended up doing an additional biopsy, I think, with contrast, then waiting like a week for that result, and then a week for the next result, and then actually getting a surgical date. By that time, it had been like another 4 or 5 weeks, and Molly's little bump had become like a golf ball. The diagnosis was that it was a malignant tumor. It was a, hold on, adenocarcinoma. This tumor was growing on her parotid salivary gland, which apparently is so rare, Molly, that the odds of a dog getting it are like 0.15%. So it was really rare, but unfortunately it was really aggressive. She definitely would have died without surgical intervention. And I guess in a way, because she had done so well with her tail amputation, so well with her teeth operation, it was like, okay, we're gonna go for it, because at this point her blood work still looked really good. She, I don't think, knew that she was growing a tumor on her face. It's kind of like under her ear. So I don't think she ever knew that she was sick. So it was like, all right, let's do it. And it just so happened to work out that this amazing surgeon who had done her tail amputation was retiring, and the last week he was doing surgery got Molly booked in for surgery that week. I don't have a lot of footage from picking her up from the surgery. She had to stay overnight, and they said that she cried the whole night, and they thought that it was that she was in pain, and so they kept kind of giving her more pain medication. But as soon as I showed up, she stopped crying. It was so sad, and I was a wreck. I wasn't vlogging at all. I went to an aviary, and I saw what is it called? Is it called a king vulture? Oh, I hope it's called a king vulture. Now I'm blanking. And a Toko toucan. When she had her dental surgery, I actually went to the zoo and spent a very long time in front of the polar bear exhibit. It's like I have to remind myself while Molly is having these procedures that there are other really amazing animals in the world, and that it's not the case that the only amazing animal is you know, on an operating table. So I was a wreck. I was looking at the birds. I think for her tail surgery was so quick. I think I just went to this used bookstore and bought a bunch of books to distract myself. I'm gonna show some pictures now of the day after her surgery, and I just wanna make a little disclaimer that they're pretty rough. Like, it's hard to see her or any dog like this. Big stitches, and obviously, you know, had a lot of like liquid matting down her fur, like while they were cleaning her up and stuff. So she's looking rough in this picture, but I'll go ahead and put them on the screen. This was the first day after surgery, and I was pretty worried about her, thinking that this was gonna be a far worse recovery than her tail or her mouth had been. But by the next day, she was like sitting up. She wanted to go on a walk. She was looking so much better. The only thing is that they had warned me that this might happen, is that because it was on her salivary gland, which is kind of right where everything is connected to her eye and her mouth, it was a high likelihood that during the surgery they would damage her facial nerve, and that would make it so that she couldn't blink in this eye, which is probably what you're seeing behind. If you're zooming in, you're probably like, Molly is not looking good. But that's just how her eye is now, and I have to put in little eye drops pretty much every 4 hours. Dogs have a third eyelid that kind of comes up while they're sleeping, and Molly still has control of that, and so she hasn't had any eye problems so far. She does the cutest little crooked yawn though now, and I really think that the droopiness, it just sort of makes her look more like a miniature Saint Bernard. Normally, if you're doing surgery on something that you know is a malignant aggressive cancer, you want the surgeon to be able to get good margins, which means that they actually remove more tissue around the tumor than the actual tumor itself, and the amount of space that they get between the actual tumor and what else they're able to remove is called like the margins of what they take. Seeing as this is in Molly's face, it's not like the surgeon could just go nuts. You hope for margins of like 3 to 5 millimeters, I think is what I was told. and Molly's margins ended up being 3 micrometers, which is 0.03 millimeters. So that's not good. It's basically so small of margins that they can't even really say that they got margins technically, because the odds are high that there is a microscopic level of cancer still in there that they missed. And unfortunately, they were able to also send off the tumor once it was removed and really figure out how aggressive the cells were multiplying. They told me something, I don't know if you're in school for this. First of all, you're my hero, but second of all, it's a mitotic index, I believe. They said that they wanted this number to be like 6 or 7, and then they were like, well, Molly's a 49. And so they really recommended to do some kind of course of after surgery treatment if I really wanted to be sure to get all of the cancer. I considered chemotherapy. It really seemed like not the right option. It seemed like Molly would have felt really, really sick for months, for probably like 4 or 5 months. And without any way of explaining that to her, it just seemed kind of cruel. The other option to do was radiation, and that actually seemed like a lot better of an option because it is completely targeted to where the cancer was. So while she may have had some side effects, spoiler alert, she does, on the site of the radiation, everything else would pretty much not be affected. So because they said the cancer was so aggressive and the margins were so tiny, if we didn't do the radiation, the cancer would likely come back, and then doing all of the surgery would have, not that it would have been for nothing, but it would have been putting her through it only for the cancer to come back and multiply and eventually get her. How else do you say it? How else do you say it, Molly? So I booked her in for radiation. At this point, she had to have another CT scan. You guys, dog CT scans are so expensive, but they have to do another one. They had to do one before to get a good look at the tumor to see what they were going to be cutting out, but then they needed a post-surgery CT scan. That CT scan can communicate to their radiation machine to plot a path for the actual radiation zapping. At this point, this entire cancer process has cost, I have the number, $9,257. And radiation, they told me, would be probably around $10,000. I was going to sell my beloved truck. I still have the truck. I wanted to do it though because I guess because I know that she's an old dog, but it never felt like I was putting her through something that she couldn't handle, that she was happy about. She wasn't happy about doing it. There was never a point where it would have occurred to me to not get her the treatment that she needed because she wasn't acting sick. You know what I mean? Like, that's such a hard, it wasn't like she was miserable and feeling bad and needed to be put out of her misery. It was just that because I was so proactive, we'll use the word proactive instead of some other words, about finding this lump early and getting it tested, it just meant that I kind of had a crystal ball essentially into how she was going to die. She's an old dog. She's 13 years old as far as I know, because she's a rescue. So hi, I'm back. The card filled up, I think. It was likely that this was going to be the way that she was going to pass, but I had the opportunity to prevent it. So she may still, I don't know how much time I have left with her, but she's not going to die from this, which was kind of priceless to me. I think that this is her way of just seeing how much money I'll actually spend on her. So at this point, she was all set to do radiation, but it was scheduled for another week out. You have to wait until the surgery. 2 weeks have to heal, and then there were some other dogs that were really, really critical. And so the plan was made to do it on starting on the 4th week after surgery. I think that's right. And so I took Molly on a trip. We went to California. She was doing so good at this point. She was like, you know, trotting around. I was like, let's go to the beach, you know? What do you do with a dog before they have radiation? You take them to see the ocean. And she was so mad. She hates water so much. We're going towards the water, Molly. She was pretty annoyed that I did that, actually. This is where the story really takes a turn. I was driving home from California on a Friday. Molly was set to start radiation on Monday, and they called me and said, our machine has been down all week and we're totally backed up now, but also the machine is not fixed. Like, it's still broken, and it's the only dog radiation machine in the entire state of Utah. They were like, if you can get her to Colorado, we have these amazing partners at Colorado State University at the giant animal cancer center that they have there, who can help. They can do Molly's radiation, and we will cover the cost of you being in Colorado and getting this treatment because our machine is broken. And at that point, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, you don't even know how much this helps. I was already plotting the like fundraiser to ask you guys to buy like a Molly plushie. I was gonna like snip the tails off of Molly plushies and but yes, I was like, absolutely, I will be in Colorado. Molly and I will drive there. It was like a 7-hour drive, and this experience, it's weird to say that it was a great experience, but it really, really was. So I have vlog footage now, I guess. So we'll cut to getting to Colorado.
We get our model of the internal structure of Mauna Loa down to about 40 kilometers, and we don't know where it was from originally. Mac felt as dizzy as he had inside the crater.
Okay, Molly hotel room tour. Hi, which bed is yours? I'm sure you will claim one. I've got her 2 water bowls because she needs options. I've got to go make another trip, but this is, it's really nice. But the nicest part is that I have a door and I can just let her out to do her business. Okay, this is a little high for you, but look, Molly. Yep, Molly, yep. And then look. Oh my gosh. Aren't you a princess? It was actually still, believe it or not, scratch o'clock in Colorado too. And I was watching Wimbledon. But yeah, it was scratch o'clock exists in Colorado too, in case you were wondering. Good morning. Good morning, Sleepy. Good morning to Molly and to this Daddy Longlegs that was in the bathroom. that is now coming outside. Be free. There you go. Oh, hi, you're awake. Hello. I can't get over it. I packed her her own backpack that she's on. Like, it just makes me laugh. Okay, so the plan is to go meet with the new doctors at the really fancy cancer center. Oh my gosh, I'm not used to holding a camera like that. I feel like in front of a window, I'm like, it's VidCon day 2. I didn't realize I look so tired still. Okay, so it's Monday, July 15th. Oh my gosh, it's my best friend's birthday. I must go message her. But yeah, we got in last night. The drive was pretty uneventful. I'm listening to an audiobook. It's the Michael Crichton, James Patterson Volcano book that just came out. Posthumous writing, it's always like a, you know, how do you feel about it? Anyway, why am I talking about this? This is about Molly. I tried to get good pictures of her outside on the first day, but she just kept sticking out her tongue, which was very cute. And then in the waiting room, she actually preferred to jump up on the chair. She like waited like a little human. The downside of going to a different radiation machine was that Molly had to get a third CT scan. So normally it was going to be 10 sessions of radiation. So that's like Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday. Molly got put under, but only for like 10 or 15 minutes. To target the spot, and then she got woken up and I gave her cheese and she was very happy. And they like to do it in those groups of, you know, Monday through Friday, rest for a weekend, and then Monday through Friday. Because I drove there on a Sunday, then her first consultation was on Monday, her CT scan was on Tuesday, and then her first treatment of radiation started on a Wednesday, which meant that she did a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday weekend, and then a Monday through Friday 5 times weekend, and then a Monday and Tuesday. So we were in Colorado when Molly and I stayed in a hotel for like 18 days. Molly was Eloise at the Plaza, but it was Eloise at the Marriott. It was very cute though. She like loved running down the hallway. I think she just had never been in such a big carpeted area. Like she found it very, if anyone has a giant carpeted mall or building, warehouse, let me know, because Molly likes that. Hi. Hey. It's time for a CT scan. Your favorite. Your third one. Oh. Good morning. Can you get up, little diva? Hi. Did you sleep good? Oh, yeah. Hi. We gotta go. Come on. Come on. Wake up. Okay. Hey, what do you think? Was it on the...
Yeah, so this is the parotid salivary gland.
Oh, yeah.
This lobular structure. You cannot see this structure on the left side because it was removed before. This is the normal salivary gland, other salivary glands. I'm going back. Burns. Yeah, so this area is the previous surgical site. And this is the skin, and the skin is a little bit big compared to the right side because of the previous surgery. So we are targeting this previous surgical site as well as this skin area. We don't know if this structure is some remaining tumor or just the changes after surgery, because there would be some inflammation and edema after surgery. But we know that based on the histopathology, the tumor was narrow leak sized, so which means there is some risk of recurrence. So we are gonna treat with radiation.
Are those
all
her
of this
ears?
area. Yeah. These are ears. Yeah, these are ears. They're so cute, right?
I think I have some pictures of how her face was looking at this point. It was pretty remarkable how her surgery had healed. Essentially, the incision had completely healed, except it was like a little bit, like there was some dryness, but it was in such good shape. So anyway, she did her first day. We left. It started raining. She was very upset. She hates water so much.
Hey, you did so good. First day in the books. Walking out a champ. Okay, here we go. Day 3. Doing good, huh? Doing good. Let's go. Come on. You know the way. A little nervous. Drugged today. You're drugged. How you doing though? Can we look? Can we look? It looks amazing. You're killing it. Crushing cancer. Oh, you sleep, okay? I just left. The vet tech that watches Molly just gets her. I just heard her introducing Molly. This is Molly. She's perfect. I just dropped her off for day 5, so I need to shower. Wow, I have the whole waiting room to myself. This never has happened. Normally there's a bunch of dogs in here. But yeah, it's Friday. This is it. Not this is it, but she did her full week and just gonna go home and sleep for the weekend, and then she only has 2 treatments left. So she's doing amazing, and everyone here loves her so much. It's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna wait here and see her coming down the hall. I can't believe she's done 7 treatments. No, 8. She's done 8. And she only has 9 and 10 left. Hi! Here you are!
Just made the rounds on the way back.
I mean, honestly, the person that was Molly's primary caretaker was so incredible with Molly. But the entire team really loved her, and I think that was because she still didn't know that she was sick. She was like, well, I had this weird operation and now I keep coming to this building. I keep taking this really amazing nap, and then I wake up and Stacy brings me cheese. I brought her Havarti one day, and then I brought her like a Edam and Colby Jack. I brought her a tiny Brie.
Hey! Molly, hi. Hey. Hey, I got cheese for you.
Oh, heck yeah.
She got through the whole week and we had an amazing weekend. I found some gluten-free chicken that Molly and I shared, and then we also went and bought her a new bed.
We're in Petco. It's Saturday. It's her day off, and I think she has found a new bed. This is ugly, but I love you, so we can get it. You got to get out of it though, so we can buy it.
I'm realizing that I'm showing you her worst, her droopy eye side. Hi, that's your good side now. And then it was the final 2 times.
Bye.
So we start from the CT scan and import it into our planning software. And then our role as radiation oncologists is to go through and essentially contour every slice, so every 2 millimeter slice that contains suspicious material or tumor material. So in her case, since we know that we're post-surgery, things look a little funky, but we're going to a scar, but we're also including all of this enhancing material in that region. So kind of right parallel to your canal there. So all the way back until we've confirmed that we've included everything that's at all concerning. Now, with hers as well, we expanded it by what we call a clinical target volume. So this means that in the case that there's microscopic extension that we can't see on CT, but that runs the risk of recurring if we were to avoid it and let it be, we expanded her treatment field by a large margin, by probably a couple centimeters in her case, to then include all the way up through to the bone. You can see that it's not including brain, just because we don't expect it to skip bone and go right to brain. So we have that little boundary there. But this allows us to treat a really wide margin, similar to what the surgeons go for when they do like scar revisions, where they're going to go and clean up as much microscopic disease as possible. And then since this is one of those tumors that's of the head and neck, so that means that we can actually reproduce it fairly well or consistently, just because she's in this very rigid setup that's unique to her. We have what we call a PTV, or planning target volume. And so this is a 2 to 3 centimeter or a millimeter extension beyond that. So that's just in case that she sets up ever so slightly differently each day from this original CT scan. We know that we've got good dose coverage all the way to that expanded margin as well. So all this to say that once we're happy with the tumor site or the treatment field that we're including, then we go through and contour out the bones, the skin, the spinal cord, the eyeballs, the brain, in her case, we have esophagus, lenses, palate, the trachea and pharynx, and so on. And so then our next step, once we have all that contoured, is essentially to evaluate it in 3D. So this is Molly recreated on our planning software. And so you can see, relative to the rest of her, this is essentially the treated field. And so this is where it's wrapping around her ear. That's why we started the ear meds as well, because we're concerned that that ear canal may have some, or is likely going to have some radiation side effects. Some people think it's freaky with the bones on. It's a little more
Oh my
gosh. So, but yeah, so this is how
incredible.
we can manipulate it. And that's kind of the next step, where we're saying, okay, how best to get dose into that? So in her case, we likely tried a couple different things, but ended with a single full 360-degree arc. So again, this is from human software, so the little green man is human-shaped, but he's essentially showing how Molly is oriented relative to the linear accelerator, so head in, kind of laying on her belly. The gantry is equipped with 120 lead leaves, and so each one of these leaves kind of moves in real time with their individual motors to kind of block the beam from certain angles and then let the beam through for others. So in her case, the computer has figured out that when we play it in real time, this is essentially what was delivered each day. So she's under anesthesia on this couch, and then the gantry is rotating around 360 degrees. Those multi-leaf collimators are moving to the nearest 0.1 degree, depending on the angle. And all of this so that we're getting good tumor coverage, but also minimizing dose to the skin, to the eyes, to the brain, to the spinal cord, to the esophagus, and the trachea. Then we can evaluate our dose coverage. So we like to look at the dose color watch because it's pretty rainbows. Back in the day when they didn't have such conformal radiation delivery techniques, you wouldn't get as compressed as a rainbow. You'd likely get big bands of orange or red because it's like that's how much you could get the dose there or conform the dose. But nowadays we're able to say that, yeah, with a plan like hers, if I was to pull this up to the intended like 100% prescription dose, you can see as I scroll through, we've got full coverage. So that's 100% of the dose going and covering that clinical target volume, or that orange border. So all this to say, we're likely cleaning up all of the microscopic extension in that area beyond what we can even see visually on CT. It also kind of explains the side effects that we see, just because your canal is coming right through that treated field, but also you see the nasopharynx, the pharynx, and the trachea in parts getting a little bit of collateral dose.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, you know, we have constraints, so we know dose numbers that we shouldn't go above. So you can see how it's nice and cool after a certain point, and it certainly spares it later on. So I anticipate that the side effects you're seeing will likely resolve within the next week or two. But certainly let us know if anything progresses or becomes concerning. And I think that's basically all to show from that side. I think it's a pretty intensive process, but ultimately it comes together pretty easily. You ready to see the machine in action? Molly, you want to come with us? So we're hanging out.
You've had like a
The most perfect.
10-day adventure here. Is this your home now?
She knows the drill.
So these are our dog wards where they're either recovering from treatment or awaiting treatment. That was Molly's kennel. Sometimes our patients get lunch or brunch after recovery, so this is our dedicated kitchen space where you can prepare their food. What's next, Molly? So now we turn the corner. Yeah, this is where the magic happens. So this is our vault. We can actually go in there in just a second once the cat is off the table. But essentially, these are all the protections in place. So our treatment team is back here in what we call our control room. That's been dosimetrically measured to make sure that it is safe within this proximity of the vault. But essentially, that's our linear accelerator hard at work treating cancer. So this cat has a nasal tumor that's breaking through into her brain. She's only 5 years old. She's doing really well. Mom's overjoyed with how she's doing at home. The machine itself, this is Ovarian Trilogy. It's about 16 years old now. It was about $7 million new. We figure it's about $3 million now currently. We've missed the phase there, but before everyone up for the treatments, Molly got a cone beam CT, and that's what you get when you move these robotic arms out on either side and acquire a cone beam. That's what's going to help Sarah match the positioning of the patient to the plan, so that we're making sure that we're again within millimeters of the plan that we've made. As long as the machine is on, it means that no one else can be in the vault besides the patient getting treated. So our anesthesia tech is watching the patient's anesthetic screen in real time. So these live feed cameras help us make sure that the patient's not getting too light or potentially too deep under anesthesia. I think most commonly it's more too light in that they are just sedated enough or just anesthetized enough to be still, but they often can run the risk of waking up. And then this is our vault, so this is our linear accelerator.
Oh, baby.
This cat is just finishing treatment now, but essentially this is how we set them up and then put them down. The multi-rig collimators that I was pointing out on the software are parked back up here, so if you wanted to step out and just look up here with your filling, you can. So they're all parked on this side and this side now. So 120 tungsten leads here. This collimator rotates 360 degrees, and then this gantry rotates 360 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So photon energy is usually what we treat with, but we can also do electrons for the right tumor type. That's what takes those extensions that are kind of mounted in this cover.
She's like, no, my throat doesn't hurt. What do you mean?
Anything for cheese.
Same girl, same.
Oh yeah.
It's worth it.
You did it. We're making a nurse.
Is that a little prosciutto?
Yeah, it was her. She's never had it, but I thought grand finale. At the end of her last time, I gave her a mozzarella cheese stick wrapped in prosciutto. I feel like that's deserved if you beat cancer. They told me that Molly just loved walking around and getting to poke her head into different rooms and be like, oh, a goat is getting surgery. Like, she's such a funny dog in the sense that she doesn't really get into trouble, but she just is very confident about what she wants to check out and then leave.
I know, we've got through there. I think we've explored most of this hospital at this point. Medical oncology, and she insists we drive through every morning. And she says hi to all her friends in here.
Oh.
Hi.
They flock to Molly. Amazing.
They were so incredible. They were so amazing with her. They loved her so much. They nicknamed her like Molly Perfect Angel Baby or something like that. So I actually printed certificates on the last day. I got like a little paw print stamp, certificate of meeting Molly. It was basically just to say thank you. And everyone loved them. I passed them out everywhere. And she just had made so many friends.
Molly Flats treatment was today.
Oh my goodness, yay! Congratulations, you did.
Did you guys get your photo shoot in?
What?
You're done. Okay, we're leaving. There's a car that's gonna hit me. I'm crying, I'm a mess. Molly did it, and the people here treated her so well. It was incredible. So, yay, Molly. I'm just so happy.
This is August at this point, and this process started in May. It was the whole summer. So I just was really overwhelmed by everything. We went to get gas at Buc-ee's. I had to take Molly to Buc-ee's, and then we hit the road home. Post-radiation has been really interesting. She really didn't have many side effects during the actual radiation treatment. So when she got home, her friend came over. She has this great Pyrenees friend that she hangs out with a lot. Pipsqueak was kind of mad that she came home. I think Pipsqueak figured that Molly was gone because we were gone for so many days. The next photos are going to be kind of gross. Her ear, I don't remember the medical term for it, but it started oozing, essentially, a really gross goop, sort of seeping out from the skin, not even from her inside her ear. It's like the skin essentially had been exposed to these radiation rays. Her ear got really pink, and it was painful. Her ear was painful, and so it was a combination of giving her pain medicine and then getting her ear drops. It wasn't all bad. We did go camping, which I think she was a little confused by, but the peaches were in season. I have a picture of her stepping on a peach. And I also took her to an eye specialist who stuck don't look away if you're squeamish. She stuck like a measuring tape up into Molly's eye, to make sure that she, is doing her eye was looking great. She said it was like the best looking eye for a dog who had this facial nerve damage. So just keeping on her drops like every 4 hours has paid off. She has so many beds now. She has like 5 different beds, and she likes to alternate between all of them. But yeah, we had a pretty okay fall. We went and went to the garden center and got some flowers, and the leaves have been beautiful. I got her a new harness that doesn't hit her ear when you put it on. It's bigger, it's wider at the top. And she's so cute in it. But yeah, that's kind of the story of how Molly beat cancer of the parotid salivary gland. Obviously, she still has bad days. Obviously, she's still an old dog. In many ways, it still doesn't feel like it's completely over, because this ear problem, essentially all of the ear tissue, it's called sloughing, I believe. I'm gonna sneeze. The skin of the ear was kind of flaking off, and it has caused a ton of wax in that ear, and it actually led to sort of a little spell of vertigo. So that was a rough 72 hours. She was really unsteady on her feet and dizzy, but she kept, eating and drinking and going to the bathroom. She was doing great. She just has this insane head tilt now, which has made her even cuter somehow. Like, she just keeps thinking of ways to get cuter. I took her to an ear specialist, and they were like, she has so much earwax that it probably warrants a trip back to kind of do another CT scan to see really what's going on in the ear, in the middle ear, because they'll probably have to do another procedure where they put her under anesthesia and remove all of the earwax. So now you're caught up That's where we are in present day. But it was like, at some point I gotta make the video. It's been since May. It's now November, and I have a book tour that I'm leaving to go on. So I'm leaving her for 4 days. She'll be very well taken care of. And then when I get back, it'll be a process of getting this wax out of her ear. She's currently on like an antibiotic eardrop because it's an infection. And then she's also on a steroid, which is going to kind of prepare for this procedure. So the timing actually worked out great. I don't know what I would have done if they were like, you have to do it now while you're on book tour. I'm just grateful that I could do all of this stuff for her. But please buy a Molly plushie or buy a book. She's in the book. She's so cute in the book. Everyone that watches this channel has supported me so much. But if you want to do something nice for Molly, buying a book or a plushie or a poster would really, really help me. This ear procedure now is probably going to be another $4,000. So I'm perpetually the melting emoji. I just have to say, these people that do radiation for animals like dogs and cats are such incredible people, and they saved Molly's life. And whatever happens with Molly, I'm really grateful for all of the memories that we've had from May until now. I'm probably forgetting something, but this is probably long enough, and I'm gonna go. Yeah, I don't know. Paige and Molly love you. Go rescue a dog. Bye. Thanks for watching. That's what people say.